viewers, Rectangular back, this time with another review. Here we have the Marvel Legends Bullseye from the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure wave, aka the Netflix wave or the Marvel Knights wave. And yeah, this so far is looking quite nice here in the window package. Let me turn it around and you can see the back real quick. Here we have the back of the package with a picture of Bullseye in a very dramatic pose with his knife throwing effect on his left hand. The quote says, "Motivated by a personal vendetta against Daredevil, Bullseye becomes an expert assassin, demonstrating an exceptional ability to use nearly any object as a lethal weapon." And then it's repeated in 3 more languages. At the bottom you've got all the other figures in the wave with their corresponding Build-A-Figure pieces. You've got Daredevil, Punisher, Elektra, Jessica Jones, Blade, and of course Bullseye. For those who care, here is the side of the box with a picture of Bullseye and some throwing cards, or I'm sorry, playing cards, and same picture on the other side. So yeah, this guy is 1 per case. The doubles in the wave are Daredevil and Punisher. So yeah, let's get this guy out of the package and get a closer look. The first item out of the package is the right arm of the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure, and this thing looks quite nice, very well painted and sculpted. Really good amount of detail there. This is a pretty hard plastic, not really any flex to it at all, so that's interesting, but it can go 90 degrees, and nice paint there on the nails, nice paint job on the back, so very cool. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind keeping this this Build-A-Figure. I may end up keeping mine when I get the whole case. So yeah, very cool. And with that, let's move on to the figure itself. Alright, here we have the figure out of the package with all of his accessories, and overall looks very good. You know, the paint job is pretty simple, but it's well executed. Only a few very minor flaws that I can see, you know, just very quickly going over the figure. The first thing is he's missing just a tiny dot of white there in the top of his mask, and I'll get a closer shot so you can look. But yeah, so far very cool. The knives are only a little bit bent or warped, but overall they look pretty good. The gun it looks very similar to the one I think that we got with the Shield Agent and I think Madam Hydra, but it's really rubbery. Seems a little bit small. I think I remember the Hydra, Madam Hydra figure being a little bit bigger, but I could be wrong. It might be because they were female, so they had smaller hands, but it's really rubbery. It's just it barely fits in his hand. His finger doesn't really go in the trigger guard. You know, you can make it work, but it's kind of at an angle, and just the barrel is just really gummy. So those are, you know, my only real complaints. But overall, he looks really good. Love the head sculpt, both head sculpts. He doesn't have an alternate right hand. He just has 2 alternate left hands. So he has this pointing finger hand there. Very cool. Again on the left side. And then we have like a card holding hand or gun knife holding hand again on the left side. And then you can see his blade throwing effect hand there. And let's get a close-up look at this alternate head sculpt. Move him out of the way for a second. So Get my camera to focus. Zoom in a little bit. Or zoom out. There we go. So yeah, this thing looks really good. It doesn't actually look like there's any paint there. It's just sculpted. The bullseye there on his head is sculpted. But the teeth look great. The eyes look great. Eyebrows. The missing tooth looks cool. And just, you know, crazy menacing bullseye that we're used to. So yeah, I really like this. Turned out great. And let's get a closer look at his masked head. Okay, that's showing up on camera. Get some more light in here. Yeah, this one looks really good as well. Eyes are painted really well. Great smile there. You can see the wrinkles of his forehead coming through on his mask. And there's like a blue wash on it, so that's very cool. It's a lot more subtle on his suit, but you can definitely see it on his mask. So really stepping up the game there, Hasbro. The black lines look good. It doesn't quite match up where the seam of the plastic is, at least on this side. This side, pretty much the same. And a little bit of a blob of white paint there at the top of the shoulder, but otherwise, and it is kind of glossy, the paint is, especially on, oh, and I got some extra paint there on the shoulder joint, so I didn't notice that before, so hopefully that will scrape off without too many issues. And again, this gun is pretty flimsy. Gonna take that out and show that it fits nicely in the holster. It's actually kind of loose, so glad I have some other guns that will, other pistols that will fit in there. And then he's got the knife. This is the same knife that came with the Bucky cap and a few other figures. That slides in really nicely. And then we have the obligatory serial number there. Fortunately, they didn't print it on the bottom of the foot like they should. A little bit of black there on the ankle, so that's just a little bit disappointing there. And again, on the front, just a tiny dot. But the shoes are a little bit big. The feet are a little bit big, but not too bad. I'm glad. I'd rather have bigger feet than smaller feet to help him stand. So far, the joints are just a tiny bit loose, but not bad. Hopefully, with a lot of articulation, they're not going to get more loose than that. Yeah, everything so far looks really good. Kind of would have been nice to have a wash on the belt, but I'm not going to complain about it. And yeah, he stands well, and his proportions look really good. Really happy with them going with this body mold. So the alternate head and hands swap out very easily, so he can hold this knife quite nicely in his I guess knife holding hand or card holding hand. So very happy with that, and alternate head looks fantastic on here. Nice proportions. So let's get into the articulation. He can look very high up, all the way down pretty much. Got his chin against his chest, of course side to side. He's got a little bit of tilt, so that's nice. It's always good for extra expression. He's got the butterfly joints, which just a tiny bit on the loose side, not too bad. Again, a little bit loose there on the elbow, double jointed elbows, which go 90 degrees. Might even be able to get a little bit more than that, but not too rubbery in the plastic feel, so I'm glad about that. He's got the hinge and swivel at the wrist on both hands, and then he's got a waist joint, really good ab crunch. goes way back, way forward. Excellent. And it doesn't look too weird in the back, at least in my opinion. And the belt doesn't hinder a whole lot. I mean, you're gonna, because it is tied to the leg, you're gonna run into a little bit of hindrance there. His legs don't go super far wide, so that's a little bit disappointing. Got the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee, calf rotation, and of course up and down and ankle rockers. Really nice ankle rocker. We've all come to expect now. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So very, very cool. Really digging this guy. And let's get him with some other figures for some size comparison. Here we have the new Bullseye next to the old Toy Biz Bullseye, the alternate version, variant, the grinning face variant there. And you can see they're pretty much the same size, so I'm glad about that. Obviously this one's got the dirty uniform, but yeah, I really like the different looks that you can do. I kind of like this new head a little bit better than the old head. He looks kind of, I don't know, tan, really tan there in the face. So still like that figure, but it's nice, refreshing to get an updated version. And then on the right we have the Hasbro Electra, and this chick is a bitch to stand, so got her in a really wide stance there. Alright, let's move on to some more size comparisons. Here we have the figure next to a suited Marvel Legends body. We got Purple Man on the left, and on the right we have the newer Daredevil from Hasbro. And yeah, I think these scale perfectly with each other. I'm glad that the Bullseye is not any taller than Daredevil. I think that's a good match. His head does look significantly bigger than Daredevil's, so you know, some people might complain about it, but for the most part, I don't really have a problem. You know, it does look a little big, I'm not gonna lie, but I think the masked head might be more in scale. Looks like his head is a little bit wider than the Daredevil head, but overall I'm happy with it. And finally on the left we have the Walgreens exclusive Punisher with my custom painted head from Michael Wisman, and I think they look really good together. I'm glad that Punisher is bigger than Bullseye. And then speaking of bigger than Bullseye, we have the Toy Biz Kingpin. So hopefully we will get a Build-A-Figure of this guy in the future. That's what I was hoping that we would get in this wave instead of Man-Thing. So hopefully we'll get a second wave, and Kingpin will be the Build-A-Figure in that wave. But well, I just have to wait and see. I'm not gonna hold my breath. But yeah, I think these guys look great together. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully with that you like the video, you share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. And I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.